the 90 countdown. Um, okay, now it says it's working. So basically, I want to go over some policies and procedures and things like that for the course. Usually, I do a screen share and I give you a tour of course, but I've read that that's not working very well. So what I did is I pre-recorded a uh, um, a video of me like going through the tour of the course, and so I'll play that kind of at the end. Can y'all see the PowerPoint big or is it small for y'all? It should be big, but I just want to make sure. Okay, excellent, perfect. Um, cool. So a little bit about me. I graduated from the University of Florida with a bachelor's degree in zoology, and then I went back to the University of Florida for my master's in fisheries and aquatic sciences. So my I guess expertise college-wise is like life sciences, but this I taught physics in a face-to-face classroom for 4 years, and then I also taught with virtual school last spring, and I'm teaching it again. So I'm fairly confident with the physics. I will tell you guys, after I got your email today, Jenny, I spent like 3 hours studying sig figs because the rules are just really confusing, and I actually contacted a few of my other physics friends, and we were like um, trying to decide like some of the questions, like that should be the right answer, should this be the right answer? So if I don't know the answer to something, I look it up. I'll try not to just be like, oh yeah, this is how it is, because I know that I don't know everything. So I do try and look stuff up, or get a second opinion from someone if I'm not entirely certain. But yeah, sig figs is probably the thing I hate the most because we care about it for like a week, and then after that, we like don't care about sig figs anything anymore. Um, so my husband is a computer programmer. We have a little boy, Benjamin. He will be 2 next month, and then we have another baby, a boy again, on the way. So and the new baby will be born like late December probably. So after class is over. And then we have 2 dogs, Luke and Leia. My husband is obsessed with Star Wars. And then we have 3 cats, which their names don't really relate to anything. So if you want to contact me, the best way to call me is thanks, between 4 and 8 p.m. Um, but if you call me and I don't answer, just leave a message. Um, my son, the 2-year-old, is really loud. And so usually I'll wait till my husband gets home so he can watch him and I can go somewhere quiet and call you back. If you text me, I can get back to you right away because you can't hear him in the background, or email me or whatever. But if you actually want to talk, like actually speak, I'll probably call you back once my husband gets home. So just, you know, as a note. I don't know why this has all these fonts. I had like normal fonts when I made it in PowerPoint, and then when I uploaded here, it has all these silly fonts. So sorry about that. So your syllabus, if you go to the course and you go to the right side and where the course information is, let's see, I think it does like a little, yeah, okay. You can click on these links, and it'll take you to your syllabus, and you can download it. But I also have them over there in the bottom right as well of this session. Just make sure you get the correct schedule. All of you guys are in the 18-week session, so if you print out the 16-week schedule, you're going to be off a little bit from what's due when. So just keep that in mind. So the course schedule should look like this on the syllabus. I try to make it as easy to understand as possible. Things that you guys have to turn in for a grade are highlighted yellow on this syllabus thing. There we go, here's the red. So like this, and then they're color coded, so like these are purple, so they'll be graded as like discussion, and this is blue, so it'll be graded as like a daily grade in your syllabus. like right above this on your syllabus. It kind of shows what each color is. Um, the things that are not yellow are things that you don't have to turn in, but it's suggested that you do them. For example, it's a good idea to complete the significant figures practice before you take the significant figures quiz. So, that kind of thing. And then your first due date is not till next Wednesday, and then you'll have a due date every single Wednesday from then on. And then the things that are actually on Wednesday are due on Wednesday. So like this quiz, this scientific notation graphing quiz is due next Wednesday. You can turn anything in early that you want, but if you don't turn in, all of these things and this, by Wednesday at 11:59, you'll get late points. We'll go over the late breakdown in a minute. If you guys have questions at any point, go ahead and type them. Let me see. Megan, you've got push to talk on, so if you want to push to talk, you can talk. And then Ginny and Tanner, your microphones are red, so I don't know if that means that you don't have a microphone or what, but it's not letting me turn on your microphone. But if you guys want to type a question or whatever, just go ahead and do that, and I can answer them. Okay. No, you're doing well, Megan. I can see you. I can see what you're typing. So yeah, your work is due every Wednesday, but this Wednesday at 11:59. If you turn in after it, after 11:59, if you turn in on Thursday, it'll be 10% off. If you turn in on Friday, it'll be 20% off. If you turn it in Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, it'll be 30% off. And after Monday, then you don't get to turn anything in. It's that due date has passed. They don't let you turn in late work. It's sometimes in the face-to-face classroom at the end of the semester, kids would turn in like a whole pile of paperwork. They don't allow that here. Once that Monday deadline, the 3 days late is gone, it's gone. You can't turn work in anymore. So it's really important to pay attention to those due dates. And then at the end of the semester, the final exam starts on a Wednesday. And so that Tuesday before the final exam is the very last day to turn in anything. So like test corrections, anything like that, you must turn those in before the final exam opens. I can't take anything after the final exam. And that's virtual school policy, not like my personal classroom policy. So this should kind of show you the due dates a little bit. It's kind of hard to read, but you can see that there's 10% off here, 20% off here, and then 30% off here. Yes, the final exam is online, just like everything else. If you go to your quizzes, it may or may not be showing up for you now, but once it opens December 6th, it'll definitely show up. It'll be like the very last quiz on the list of quizzes. When I look as a student, I see the final exam, but I don't know if that's because it's showing me like a generic student profile and not like, a specific student. So if you guys have vacation or your school is out, but we're not, it's not a virtual school holiday, that's not an excuse for late work. So like some schools have like a fall break, even you still have to work over fall break. Luckily, we get the whole week of Thanksgiving off. So it's not like you have to, turn in stuff on Wednesday and then Thanksgiving's on Thursday. That whole week we have off, which is kind of nice. When I taught in the face-to-face classroom, we only got like Thursday and Friday off, which was kind of lame. So grading, you don't have an EOCT, no, just the final exam. But the final exam is like worth 20% of your total grade. So the equivalent to like every lab that you do this semester. So it's pretty significant. But overall, the students tend to do pretty well on it. So that's a good thing, I guess. So I will grade your assignments within 3 school days of being submitted. I try and grade them quickly, but sometimes I've got something going on. It takes me like 2 or 3 days, but definitely 3 days. Like those of you that have been submitting stuff today, I've gone ahead and started grading it. If you turn in something like a lab early, or a discussion, you do a discussion early, and I grade it and you don't get full points, you can go ahead and correct that or like add to your discussion until the due date. So that's kind of a benefit of turning things in early. You can kind of get your grade and then kind of fix it. So that's kind of nice. Make sure that you look at all your feedback. In the video I'm going to show towards the end where I went through the thing, I kind of show you how to look at your feedback and that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys will know how to do that after that. If you need help while you're working on your assignments, just let me know. Now, if you're doing a lab or something at 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday night, and you send me a question, I may not get back to you till after the due date, and that's I don't sit at the computer till like midnight on Wednesdays just because some kids work really late. So work a little bit ahead if you're worried that you may have trouble with some sort of an assignment. If you have a question about your grade, please don't hesitate to ask. Usually the things that we have are labs, which are all have rubrics, so it's pretty easy to see like where you miss points. And then the quizzes, each individual quiz has like a question has feedback, so when you miss it, it'll tell you like why you got it wrong. But so most of our stuff should be pretty clear, but if you ever have a question, please ask. So in this class, you don't have like class work, which is really nice. Last semester, there was a ton of stuff. So like the sig figs practice, all of that stuff you guys have been kind of working through, you had to turn all of that stuff in for a grade. I had to grade it all. And then, if you didn't quite understand it, then, you might not do very well on that classwork. And then that was, part of your grade. The way they have it set up now, none of those practice problems are graded, which is nice because then they have the key for you. So you can go ahead and look at the key. If you're not quite sure, how to do a problem or something like that, you can look at the key, which is nice. And then, but then they have those little quizzes, and those little unit quizzes are what becomes your daily grade. So hopefully that should actually improve people's grades instead of lowering them, because then you don't have all that like busy work kind of stuff graded as well. The tests are 40% of your grade, so those are pretty key. I try and tell students, if you're gonna like miss something or not do an assignment, at least do the test, because they're worth the most points. Your labs are worth 20%, your discussions are 5%, and then your final exam is also 20%. So that's kind of how your grade is broken down for this course. If you're having a technical difficulty, that's not really an excuse for an assignment to be late. You do get one quiz reset pass, which I'll talk about on the next slide. This isn't something that every teacher does. It's something that I'm kind of test driving this semester, so we'll see how it works. We kind of expect that if you're taking a virtual school class that you have computer access, whether you go to the library or you do it at school or whatever. So we kind of expect that you have computer and internet access. So, it is an online class, so keep that in mind. And then if you are having any sort of technical difficulties, let me know, because I can, sometimes I can help troubleshoot them. And if I can't figure them out, I can, we have like a teacher thing where we can like post when kids are having problems, and the people that are way ahead of us and know like, the computer people at virtual school, they can respond, and they usually respond pretty quickly. They say, oh, have your kid try and clear the cache or whatever. So let us know if you're having trouble. So the quiz reset pass. Basically, some students have like internet connection interrupt, or they lose power, and then they mess up it loses their quiz. I had a student last semester, they had a fire drill in the middle of her quiz, and so obviously she didn't get to finish it. So what you have to do to get the quiz reset is you have to submit your quiz, because if you it doesn't auto submit. So you know, I had students last semester that would like start a quiz and then I don't know what they would do, like I don't know where they would go or what, but they would just never submit it. And so they had like all the questions answered and then they would never submit it. And they'd be like, why do I have a 0 on this? Because I can't grade it if you don't turn it in. Um, and then as soon as you lose connection or whatever happened that caused you to need a quiz reset, immediately email me and let me know that you'd like to use your quiz reset pass. Um, and then I'll reset your quiz. So, but you still have to complete it by the correct due date. So if you're taking a quiz at Wednesday night and you email me late Wednesday and say you can use your quiz pass, I may not get your email before the deadline. So I can reset your quiz Thursday, but it is going to still have a late penalty. So just kind of keep that in mind. And you can't use the pass on past due quizzes. So, you know, in December, you can't be like, can I have a quiz reset on that pass back in on that quiz in September? It doesn't, you know, quite work like that. And you can't get a reset on something that's already been graded. That's so like as soon as you turn in, immediately email me and say you want to reset. You know, because if I've already graded it, then you basically, you know, it shows you what you missed and that kind of stuff. So it's not really fair. And you can't use it during the last week of school, but we don't have any quizzes on the last week of school. So that's kind of how the quiz reset pass thing works. So to get started in the course, I have these screenshots. I was really worried that the videos and things like that wouldn't work. You can go to content to get to like the actual like meat of the course, and then you can go to the our different units. Like our first one's math and physics, and then you click on this part right here, and it'll bring you up to the content. Now, once you finish those 3, if you want, you can click this and it'll put like a little check right here, and then you can kind of check through, and so you can kind of keep track of what you've done or what you haven't done. So that's kind of a new feature in this new Brightspace. So let me see, like it'll do like a little check like that. Well, not that big, but it'll put a little check in the box. So no. Okay, now I did this. How do I get back to the next slide? Okay. I really should not try and do anything fancy. Okay, here we go. So now your coursework. We have, you go to this top left where it says assessments, and you can click on discussions, Dropbox, and quizzes. I don't think I've ever clicked on the competency section. I don't even know what's there. And then the grades is, you know, where you check your grades. So the discussion, the Dropbox, and the quizzes will really be the bulk of where you go for the to do your work. So for discussions, there's a discussion rubric, so please check that out to see what you need to do to earn full points. So far, I've been really happy with the discussion postings that you guys have done. You must cite any sources that you use. You have to respond to 2 classmates. And your responses should be at least like 2 to 3 sentences and include like new information. So it doesn't mean you need to like research new stuff, but you can't just say like, I agree, or great work. You need to say, I agree because, or you had a great response because, you know, something like that. You need to use correct grammar and punctuation and spelling to make it easier for us to understand you. And you need to be polite to your peers, obviously. If you edit your discussion, I won't see that you edited it. So if it's graded, just like a reply to your post. Like I saw a couple of y'all forgot to put your citations on the metric post, and so you just made a reply to it and included your citation. That's perfect. And then the way I've set up the discussions is you actually can't view your classmates' post until you've made a post. So just kind of keep that in mind. Jenny, it says that you're orange. I've heard that if you refresh, that might work. That might help you. But yeah, that's just showing that your connection is a little is struggling right now, which totally happens. I was orange the other day in a faculty meeting. Um, Again, for your discussions, make sure that you're helpful. If you write something that is mean or not very nice or whatever, I'll just delete your comment and give you 0. Um, so, the point is to discuss um, with your classmates, not to grade them. That's my job. Um, it's also kind of nice if you reply to classmates' posts that haven't been replied to yet. If you read their post and you can't relate, obviously move on and answer someone else's. But it's kind of nice that at least everyone gets a reply. It kind of makes them, know that at least someone read their post. I try and reply to all of them. So this is what I used to do when I had to do my own discussions in my online classes. Is I would type my discussions in like Word or Evernote or something like that. That way, if something happened, I wouldn't lose my work. And then I would kind of paste it into the discussion when I was done. And I knew I was ready for it. So that's kind of a good practice. So for the Dropbox, I cannot read your document if you don't save and close it before you submit it. Some students were trying to do this thing where they would keep their document open and then they would submit it and we couldn't answer it. We couldn't grade it, which you do get one like mulligan for your assignment. So if you submit something in an unapproved file format or you do something like that, or you do get a mulligan where I let you resubmit that one, but you only get to do it once. So um, that helps you out once, but it's not gonna, it's they would turn in all their assignments for the week, um, just open and not closing them, and then that way they had extra time to work on them. But it only works once, and then after that you're stuck with your 0 or your late work or whatever. Make sure that you're turning in your work in a common format. You guys all get um, a free subscription to Office 365. So you guys can actually, if you go into the mail program, you can download Word, PowerPoint, Office, OneNote, excuse me, all that stuff. So you do have that whole suite of uh, programs to work with. So there's really no excuse for not having doc or anything like that. Like some students are like, well, I only have Pages. Well, you can download it because I have a Mac and I was able to download it for Office. PDFs are really nice too because what's nice about a PDF is if you submit something in a PDF, it looks to me exactly the way it looked to you. So it's not like formatting is going to be weird or get messed up or something like that. So here's that incorrect file time file submission I was telling you. Every document in the title should have your name and the name of the assignment. So believe it or not, I have more than one student, and when everybody submits a document called Untitled, and then you don't have your name in the document, it's very difficult to see who to give a grade to. So make sure that your title, your document, um, within the document somewhere it says your name, and then also like on the file it has your name. And then you cannot submit work via email. This is a virtual school policy. In order for it to go into the gradebook, there has to be a corresponding assignment in the Dropbox. So if you submit something via email, I can't give you a grade for it because that thing you submitted in email isn't in the Dropbox. And so when someone above me goes and looks at my grade book, they say, why does this kid have a grade when they don't have anything in their Dropbox? And then, then I get in trouble and then you lose the points anyway. They'll take it out. So there must be something in your Dropbox folder. You have to turn in your work in the Dropbox folder. I can't get it via email. It just doesn't work. Worst case, like upload it to Dropbox or your Google Drive or something. Give me the link to the Google Drive in the Dropbox if it's not working. But you can't just email it. So our weekly office hours will be Tuesdays at 6. If you can't make them, I do record them, like I'm recording this one, so you can see it later. And then if you look at the weekly update email, at the very bottom, it has the synchronous session, and it kind of tells you what I'm going to talk about that week. So whether I'm going to do like a review for a test coming up, or if I'm just going to, kind of work through practice problems or whatever, it kind of lets you know what I've got planned for it. If you have questions and you can't make the synchronous session, go ahead, email me the questions and tell me you'd like me to answer it during the synchronous session, and I can work out those problems or answer them during the synchronous session. So, hopefully that is helpful. You do obviously need speakers to come to these, or you can't hear me, but a microphone is optional. You can get one for like $10 at Walmart if you want one. So some people prefer to talk their questions. Some people prefer to type. If I had my way, I would probably type the whole time. I don't really like to talk all that much, although it seems like I talk a lot during these sessions. So academic honesty, you cannot copy and paste stuff from the internet without reference. And it's pretty obvious. I kind of get to know the way you write through your discussions and the work that you turn in. And so if you turn in something that sounds completely different from the way you usually write, I actually can just take that phrase, insert it into Google, and it'll automatically bring up the website that you got it from. And so if you haven't included a reference, then that's plagiarism. And it's not allowed, and you'll get a 0. If you submitted something in another class, do not submit that in this class. That's not allowed. You have to change it or fix it. Your plagiarized work will get a 0, unfortunately. And you cannot work with other students or teachers on projects in any way. So I can help you out. Please, ask me questions, but you cannot do, something with another student. And believe it or not, I figured out. I had students last semester that would turn in the exact same PowerPoint, but they would change the theme of the PowerPoint and think that I wouldn't notice. So, I've seen a lot. So please don't think that I won't notice. And if I don't notice the first time, I'll figure it out eventually. So please don't. It's not worth it. So when you use something from another website, and you don't change it at all, you need to put quotes in there, and then you need to quote the website. You need to cite your source, whatever you didn't know on your own, you need to cite. When in doubt, just cite. And that way you don't have to worry about it, whether you're doing what you need to do. So in order to get to your mail program, you can go up here where it says mail, and everything that I send you will be sent to your mail account. I'm really frustrated. This is in white. So basically it's showing that you get like a terabyte of, this is saying that you get like a terabyte of Office, of storage on your Office. So, use that. Will you have to do PowerPoints? No. For this class, luckily, all you have are the quizzes, the tests, the labs, and the discussions. And none of the labs require a PowerPoint. They do require graphing a lot and working out math problems sometimes. But no, they don't require PowerPoints. So that's kind of nice. When I taught environmental science this summer, it seemed like every day they were submitting a PowerPoint. So use your virtual school email for correspondence with me when I send updates and things like that. I'll send it to your virtual school email, not your home email. That very first email did go to your home email, but after that, they don't. You can use the course pager, but email is preferred because I'm not always in the Brightspace course, but I do have the email on my phone. So if you send me an email, I get like a little ding and I can kind of check it right away. You will get, apparently your parents will get grade notification emails each Wednesday, and then every other week you'll get progress reports. And then make sure you guys are reading the news announcements because there's a lot of really important information there. When I taught in the face-to-face classroom, I used to give them kind of, at the beginning of class, I'd give them like an update, like this is what we're working on this week, this is what we're going to do today, that kind of stuff. That's what I do, and that's what the news announcements are for. So that's where you're going to get that important information. Like, don't forget. So please check those out. It says Firefox is the preferred browser. Honestly, I always use Chrome, and if I'm not using Chrome, I'm using Safari. But technically, Firefox is the preferred browser. So if you're having trouble, a lot of times the first thing they'll say is, "Are you using Firefox?" And if not, they'll say, "Okay, we'll try it in Firefox." If you have questions, you can go to the help here, and there are all sorts of help videos and help articles and things. There's a ton. When I can't figure something out, I go there and I look it up. Some of the news announcements I have for you guys, I've taken videos from the help desk because they are pretty good, and they show exactly what you need to do. So go to the help if you have like technical difficulties or like how do I submit an assignment, how do I check my feedback, all that stuff is in there. So it's pretty handy. If you have questions, you can also go to the student handbook. At the top where there's student resources, you can click on your student handbook and it will have everything in there that you might want to know. And then if you're having technical issues, you can also complete a help desk ticket. We're also having, because we just redesigned Brightspace and it's got this new look. If you remember before, it used to be kind of like green. If you've ever done virtual school classes before, now it's like all white. They are doing those. They're having one today at 7, and then they're having 3 others. So if you have trouble, you should be able to see it like when you log into virtual school before you even get into my class. There's like the main virtual school like news announcements and stuff. The link is like right there that you can get to the help session. And if you do the help session, I'm allowed to give you 1 point on your first discussion post. So a lot of points. So, and just like keep in mind that I'm here to help you and to help you succeed. So the virtual school folks have written the entire course, and this is the first time that the physics course, they redesigned it for the fall. So I'm sure that we're going to find a variety of typos and things like that. I already found one today and submitted a help desk ticket, and they're fixing it. But basically, I'm here to help you navigate through these things. And when you submit assignments, I give you feedback to kind of help you understand why, the question wasn't right, or what, where you could go for more information, that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of my job, is like, I'm almost more of like a facilitator. I kind of, help you, guide you through the course. So please, my job is to kind of help you navigate the course and do as well as possible. And if something's weird on an assignment or something, let me know. I didn't make any of these assignments, so they're, I have no personal, connection to them. It's not like, you're gonna hurt my feelings if you're like, what is this? Why is it not working? Why is this weird? So this is me and my husband and my son last Christmas. That was our Christmas picture. Like I said, my husband is obsessed with Star Wars, and that was the only way I could get him to dress for Christmas. So this video is the welcome tour that I have for you. I'm going to play it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my microphone off when it's playing. because I've been in jigsaws where they kept the microphone on and there's some feedback, and you can't hear what I'm saying over the video anyway, because one lady tried to talk through the video and we couldn't hear anything she said. So I'm going to turn my microphone off. If you guys have questions, please type them in the chat box as we're going through it, and then I can, type the answers back to you.
So what I wanted to do for you guys is just kind of give you a little tour of the course so you kind of know what to expect. I've got my view on student right now, so you can kind of see what's going on. You see this is the bulletin board. You can see my information to the side. When we scroll down a little bit, you can see the syllabus information. You can see my phone number. You can call or text me at this phone number. If you call me, I may not answer, just leave a message and I'll call you back. I have a 2-year-old. He's kind of loud, so sometimes I wait to call y'all back until my husband gets home from work because it's a little quieter. And then I can actually hear you and concentrate on what you're saying. If you look down a little bit more, you can see under course information, you can see all the syllabus information. You can click on your session, and when you click on it, it will open your syllabus. So this is the 18-week, and you can see these are the first 2 weeks. Our first due date is not till next week. Those dates are kind of highlighted yellow-orange. If something is highlighted yellow, that means that's something you need to turn in for a grade, and then the color that the thing is typed in will tell you how that's going to be graded, if it's going to be a quiz or a discussion or a test, or where you can expect that to show up. If you have something that is due on the due date, such as like this scientific notation quiz, that means you'll need to turn it in on that Wednesday as well. That will not be on the next due date, that'll be on that due date. So that's kind of how the syllabus works, and you can click on whatever your session is. If you need the acknowledgement form, it is right here. You can just click here. If you have trouble getting it to bring up or getting it to save, you can just print out the last 2 pages and then sign an initial and then take a picture or scan it and then submit it to Dropbox that way. Some people have trouble getting the PDF to save the information they want it to. Our synchronous sessions are Tuesdays at 6 p.m. If you click where it says click here, it will take you to Jigsaw, which is our new platform this semester. So when you click on it, it'll take you to Jigsaw. It'll bring in the login session. You're going to see my side because it thinks that it's me. So yours might look a little bit different, but you'll still kind of see the 4 panes. You'll see that there's a PowerPoint section. This is set up for the welcome session. You'll see there's a whiteboard section. There's a map where it shows where everyone's logging in from. It's not super detailed. It's not going to show your address or anything like that. It has the syllabuses in here, so you can download your syllabus as a PDF if you need to, and it has a picture of myself, my husband, and my almost 2-year-old from last year. That was our Christmas picture last year. So you can scroll down some more. You can see some news announcements, and you can see the user links section. In the user links, when we have Jigsaw sessions, right at the very top where it says housekeeping, you'll see it'll say like Jigsaw sessions, and it'll have all the recordings there. So even if you can't make a session, it will still show up for you and you can still watch the recording. All of these course resources are pretty handy. I put these together for you. They have all the assignments for each unit, and they have like helpful hints. If you guys ask questions about assignment, I will put the question and answer here. That way everybody gets the benefit of the answers. These are videos, YouTube videos that I made for my face-to-face students when I taught in the face-to-face classroom, but they're about all of these concepts. And then if you scroll down farther, there's videos from Khan Academy and other sorts of places that also go over this material. So in case you need basically like a second opinion for our course information and you don't like the way it was taught, or you just need it explained in a different way, you can go to the course resources and it'll have that extra information for you. So it's kind of helpful. You can scroll down to the news announcements. There's only a couple in the course right now because we just started. This is the same weekly update that you guys should have gotten as an email. Every week the weekly update will kind of tell you what we're studying that week. It'll have a link to the course resource that is applicable for that week. Usually I try to have some sort of helpful hint on there to kind of show you, to give you some, help with the course. It has our weekly schedule so you can see what's due each day and kind of what is expected of you. And then it'll have the help session and it'll tell you what's going on. So for example, this week the help session is a welcome session, just kind of talking through the course, going over procedures, and it also has a link. Now if you want to see the content, you can just click course materials and then content, and then all the units are to the side, and then the math and physics is the first one. So if you click on that one, you'll see all this, and then you can just click the link and it'll go to the content. It has questions, it has vocab words, there's practice problems, there's videos, there are practice worksheets. Now in the past, the practice worksheets, y'all had to turn those in for a grade. It didn't matter if you got the concept after 3 questions, you still had to do all 20 questions and turn them in for a grade. They decided to do away with that, which I really like, because then you only have to do as many as you feel like you need to. And then it also allows us to provide the solutions for you up front, so you can kind of look at, as you're working through it, and you can kind of look and see, okay, I don't really understand this question, let me see how they did it in the solutions. And so you can kind of help yourself that way. But that means they're not required. And so it's really important that you do these practice questions before you take the associated quiz. If you don't do the practice questions before you take the quiz, you may struggle with the quiz, because that's the point of the quiz. So you can see there's some practice problems on this page. If we go to the next page, you see there's some sig fig stuff, and then there's this quiz, sig fig and international system. If you haven't done the practice problems on the previous page and the ones on this page, you might struggle with that quiz. Doesn't mean you need to do all of them, but at least do a few, so you kind of know what to expect on that quiz. And that's going to be really important, that you understand those. Now, if we go back to, whenever you want to go to the main page, you can just click at the top where it says Physics AB, and you'll go to the main page. Something else that's kind of cool, I think, is the checklist. I used this when I was going through my orientation course. If you click the checklist, you can kind of just click on the assignments as you complete them, and that way, before you take the test, you need to do all of those assignments before you take the test, so you're ready for the test. It also kind of makes sure that you've done everything you need to do to get your grade, so you don't miss something and accidentally, don't do well on it. Now the next thing, you can go to assessments and discussion, and you can click on the discussion. For example, right now, students are working on the welcome discussion. So you can see my example post. You can scroll down and see what your students have written. When you're ready to make your own post, just click Start New Thread and write your own post. Something that's kind of nice to do is to maybe reply to a classmate that hasn't had a reply yet. It's kind of nice to know that at least someone read your post. And then when you're writing your post, make sure that you're using correct grammar, and when you respond to your classmates, you're using at least like 2 to 3 sentences. For example, I agree is not a really great response, but I agree because or I liked what you said because um, that is a better response because it kind of it's a little more in depth, and that will be a better way of getting full points. Now, from the assessment section, you can also go to the Dropbox folder, and you can see all of the Dropbox folders for the semester. Um, they're all here, they're all open. You can work ahead as much as you want. The extra learning opportunities, these are basically your test corrections. So you can click on those, and when you're ready to do your test corrections, and it has the instructions for how to do test corrections in each folder. But once you've completed the test, a new news announcement will pop up that says, um, don't forget your test corrections. So you'll be able to see them that way. Let's pretend that I wanted to submit this Graphing Pennies lab. You can see that I've got some hints here for you. And you can see the rubric. The rubric is really nice because that's what I use to grade. So if you want to make sure that you get full points on your labs, you just look at the rubric and you make sure you've got everything in that level 4 section that is needed, and you get full points. So for example, data table 1 and 2, you have all that data in there, you get full points. For your 2 graphs, you have all of those bulleted points for each of your graphs, you get full points. What I do when I grade them is I just pull up your lab and I pull up the rubric and I just click which level your lab fits into. So if you've already checked the level 4 and made sure that you fit in the level 4, then you're going to get full points. When you're ready to submit, you can just you can hit add a file, and you can get a file from your computer or your OneDrive or wherever, and you just upload it. Make sure it's in one of our approved formats. You can leave a note if you want that says, I like this assignment, I hated this assignment. Whatever you want to put in there is perfectly fine. And then that's how you submit it. It'll go to me. If you submit it early, then sometimes I can grade it early. And then if you haven't done everything you need to get full points, you can fix it or correct it before the due date. So that's kind of an advantage to turning in things early. Now we can go down, and from the Dropbox we can go to assessments, and we can go down to quizzes, and you can see the quiz list. They're all here. You guys may or may not be able to see the final exam, but you won't be able to take it until our final exam window. So that's the one thing that you can't do early. So if it doesn't show up for you right now, that's fine. It'll show up during that window. Don't worry. And again, just to take a quiz, you'll just click on the quiz, and then it's got some information for me. Again, don't forget to show your work in units. And then at the bottom, it'll have a place where you can start the quiz. I'm not a real student, so it won't actually let me start the quiz, but that's kind of how the quizzes work. When you want to check your feedback, you can click on the, let me see, you can click on the down arrow where it says submissions, and it'll show your submissions if you've taken anything, and you can just click on it and you can view your quiz feedback. The next thing you can do is you can click on assessments, and you can go to grades and you can view your grade books. You can see the grade you've gotten on all of your assignments. So now under gradebook, you can see all of the things that you have to do. You can see all of your quizzes. You can see the discussions, the labs, things like that. If you click to the right, once you've done something, you should be able to see the feedback right here. I just haven't done anything, so I don't have any feedback. And then here, once you've completed your discussion and I've graded it, you'll see your discussion feedback there. So that's kind of handy. And then when you look at the test, the final exam, you guys will be doing the AB final exam, not the A, and then the B. You'll just be doing each individual one. Now the handbook acknowledgement form, that is, it shows up in the grade book, but it has a weight of 0, so it's not actually going to affect your grade, positively or negatively. So you don't have to worry about that, but we really, really do like to get those back. So if you can get those back, that would be really great. Now, we can go back to the main page, and you can see there's some student resources here for y'all. Here's the student handbook. You can see, you know, guidance, some links, SAT questions, that kind of stuff. You can go here and you can page me if you have a question. Email's usually better, but you can page me. And then you can see if there's anything new. There'll be that little orange dot, and you can see that's a new piece of news announcement or whatever. So that's kind of how your course works. Um, so I just wanted to give you guys a little tour so you kind of knew how it worked, especially since we have this new format this semester.
Okay, so that's basically all I had for you. Hopefully that tour was helpful and it wasn't too repetitive. Um, you at least got to see, like about the test corrections and stuff like that. So that's what I had for this welcome session. Do y'all have any additional questions um, for me before I kind of let you guys go? Okay. Well, if you guys do run into questions or you problems or you have questions, please feel free to email me, like I said, or you can text me or call me, and I will try and answer them as soon as I can. While that video was going on, Jenny, I'm working on replying to your email, um, so you should have a reply. Um, within the next couple minutes. So just kind of keep out a lookout for that. But um, that's all I have for y'all. So thanks for coming, and yeah, that's all.